You keep looking at the clock like it's going to give you permission. Permission to start. Permission to change. Permission to finally become whoever it is you think you're supposed to be by now. But here's what nobody tells you about that clock. It's not counting down to your failure. It's counting down to your last chance to stop pretending you have forever. There's this moment that happens to almost everyone. You're scrolling through your phone at 2 a.m. and you see someone your age closing a series of funding round. Someone younger launching their third company. Someone older finally hiking Patagonia after beating cancer. And you feel this tightness in your chest, not jealousy exactly, more like grief. Grief for a version of yourself that you're convinced you've already missed becoming. I want to tell you about Sarah. Not a real person, a composite of about 40 conversations I've had in the last year alone. Sarah is 27. She has a degree she's not using, a job she can barely tolerate, and a growing collection of bookmarked articles about people who made it before 30. She tells herself she'll start that project next month, next quarter, next year when things calm down. She's waiting for the moment when she feels ready, when the conditions are perfect, when she's more qualified, more confident, more something. What Sarah doesn't realize is that she's playing a rigged game. She's measuring her rough draft against everyone else's highlight reel, and she's losing a war against an enemy that doesn't exist. The enemy isn't time. It's the illusion of infinite time. Let me take you somewhere uncomfortable for a second. Imagine you're sitting across from your doctor and she's just told you that you have exactly 5 years left. Not 5 years of deterioration, 5 years of full health, full capacity, full life. And then it ends. No warning, no decline, just done. What happens in your mind right now? I mean right this second. What drops away? What suddenly matters? That promotion you've been grinding toward, does it still occupy the same real estate in your brain? That argument you had 3 months ago that you keep replaying, does it deserve the space it's been taking? That fear of looking stupid if you try something new, does it feel as important when you know you have 60 months to create something meaningful? Here's what's fascinating, you probably just experienced a shift, a clarification. Certain things became transparent, almost weightless, and other things became dense with significance. That's not an accident. That's your actual value system breaking through the static. Most of us walk around like we have multiple lifetimes to figure this out. We operate with the unconscious assumption that there will always be another chance, another decade, another version of ourselves who will somehow be braver, smarter, more prepared. We're waiting to become the person who doesn't wait. But here's the architecture of the trap. The longer you wait for the perfect conditions, the more you reinforce the neural pathways that make waiting feel safer than starting. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's fear dressed up as rationality. It's your brain's way of protecting you from the discomfort of being a beginner, from the vulnerability of wanting something you might not get, from the exposure of trying and possibly failing in front of people who seem to have already figured it out. And social media has turned this into a blood sport. You're comparing your internal experience, the doubt, the mess, the uncertainty, with everyone else's external presentation. You're watching people perform certainty and calling it reality. That guy posting about his morning routine that starts at 4:30 a.m. isn't showing you the 3 times he hit snooze last week. That woman sharing her business success isn't documenting the panic attacks in the parking lot or the clients who ghosted her or the months she couldn't pay herself. You're not seeing life. You're seeing marketing. And the cruelest part is that this comparison doesn't just make you feel bad, it makes you freeze. You see someone at 23 building an app, and instead of thinking I could learn that, you think I should have already done that. You see someone at 52 running an ultramarathon, and instead of thinking it's not too late, you think I wasted my 30s. You're so busy mourning the person you think you should have already become that you're missing the person you could start becoming today. Let me tell you something that might sound paradoxical, your life isn't a race. But it is finite. And those two facts don't contradict each other, they complete each other. The people who built something meaningful, they didn't do it because they were faster. They did it because they stopped waiting for permission from a future version of themselves that was never going to show up. Ray Kroc was selling milkshake mixers at 52 before he built McDonald's. Vera Wang was a figure skater and a fashion editor before she designed her first dress at 40. Laura Ingalls Wilder published her first book at 65. These people didn't have some secret advantage. They had the same doubts you do, the same fear that it was too late, the same voices telling them they should have started earlier. The difference is they started anyway. Your life isn't one continuous arc. It's a series of chapters, and you're allowed to write a completely different chapter at 35 than you wrote at 25. You're allowed to close a chapter that isn't working. You're allowed to start a new one that terrifies you. The chapter you're in right now, what if you just named it? What if instead of judging it against some imaginary timeline, you just called it what it is? Maybe your 20s are the trying things and learning what I hate chapter. That's not failure. That's information. Maybe your 30s are the building something stables chapter. Maybe your 40s are the burning it down and starting over chapter. Maybe your 50s are the finally doing what I actually want chapter. There's no rulebook that says you have to have it all figured out by a certain age. That anxiety you feel, that's not coming from reality. It's coming from a story you've been told about what success looks like and when it's supposed to happen. And that story is bullshit. Here's what I want you to do. And I know this sounds simple, maybe too simple, but stay with me. Pick one thing. Just one. One thing that appeared in your mind when you imagined having 5 years left. One conversation you've been avoiding. One skill you've been meaning to learn. One relationship you need to repair. One project you've been postponing. One trip you've been putting off. One boundary you need to set. Not 10 things. Not a complete life overhaul. Not a new you by next quarter. One thing. And do the smallest possible version of it. Today. If it's fitness, you don't join a gym and commit to 6 days a week. You do 10 push-ups right now. If it's writing, you don't plan the novel. You write 2 paragraphs. If it's a difficult conversation, you don't script the perfect monologue. You send one text that says, "Can we talk?" Because here's the truth that nobody wants to hear: there is no perfect moment. You will never feel completely ready. The conditions will never be ideal. You will always have legitimate reasons to wait. And every day you wait for perfect is a day you're choosing not to live. I've worked with hundreds of people who were waiting to be thinner before they dated, waiting to be more qualified before they applied, waiting to be more confident before they spoke up, waiting to have more money before they started, waiting to be less busy before they rested. They were all waiting for a future version of themselves who had somehow overcome the fear without ever facing it. And that person never showed up. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move while afraid. Your mortality, the fact that this ends, isn't the problem. It's the solution. It's the thing that makes today matter. It's the thing that makes this moment irreplaceable. It's the thing that separates a meaningful choice from an infinite hypothetical. If you had forever, nothing would matter. Every decision would be reversible. Every moment would be replaceable. Every person would be replaceable. It's the limitation that creates the value. It's the deadline that makes you choose. Think about the people you love most. Why do you love them? Partly because you know you won't have them forever. You know that someday you'll wish you'd said more, hugged longer, paid closer attention. The impermanence is what makes the presence precious. Same with your own life. You don't have infinite chances to do the thing that matters to you. You have this life, these years, this energy, this moment of giving a shit before cynicism or exhaustion or compromise wears it away. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is motivational rhetoric. You're thinking this is just another voice telling you to seize the day, to live with no regrets, to follow your dreams. All the platitudes that sound good but don't actually help when you're staring at your email at midnight wondering how you ended up here. But I'm not telling you to quit your job and move to Bali. I'm not telling you that passion conquers all or that you just need to believe in yourself or any of that bullshit. I'm telling you to stop using the future as an escape hatch from the present. Stop telling yourself you'll be happy when you lose 20 pounds. Stop telling yourself you'll start living when you get the promotion. Stop telling yourself it'll get easier when you have more time, more money, more confidence. It won't. The only thing that changes is that you get older and the voice that says it's too late gets louder and you have more evidence that waiting is safer than trying. Unless you interrupt the pattern. Today. With one small, imperfect action that moves in the direction of what matters. You want to know what the people who built meaningful lives did differently. They started before they were ready. They embarrassed themselves as beginners. They failed in small ways repeatedly until the failures became lessons instead of verdicts. They stopped waiting for the perfect version of themselves and started working with the actual version that existed. They treated their mortality not as a threat but as a filter. Every time they had to choose between comfort and growth, between approval and authenticity, between safe and meaningful, they asked themselves, if this is all I get, which choice will I regret less? And they chose accordingly. Not perfectly. Not without fear. Not without backsliding and doubt and moments of thinking they'd made a terrible mistake. But they chose. And then they chose again. And again. Until their life started to look less like something that happened to them and more like something they were actively creating. You can do that too. Not someday. Today. Your life isn't over. But it is finite. And that's not a tragedy. That's the entire point. The clock isn't your enemy. It's your ally. It's the thing that makes this matter. So stop staring at it like it's a countdown to your failure. Start treating it like what it is, a reminder that you're here, you're alive, and you still have time to stop waiting and start living. What chapter are you writing right now? And what's one line you can write today that moves it forward? Don't wait for the perfect sentence. Just write the next one.